Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. Thank you for joining in. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and last time we discussed how Krishna he defeated Jarasandh 18 times, and 17 times he defeated Jarasandh, and 18th time when Jarasandh was preparing to attack, there was one more demon, Kalayavan. He was also trying to attack. He was also on the way to attack Dwarka because he had heard from Narad Muni that Yadus are very, very powerful. So Krishna, he consulted with Balram and they told Vishwakarma to create a city in the ocean. And Vishwakarma created a beautiful city in the middle of the ocean, and that was Dwarka. Overnight, Krishna shifted all the inhabitants of Mathura to Dwarka, and then he came back and alone, without any weapons, he came out of the fort of Mathura. Kalayavan, when he saw the beauty of Krishna, he became mesmerized, and then he thought, oh, this person, he must be Vasudev. Because seeing Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, he manifested four hands. He was attracted by the beauty of Krishna, and then because Krishna was without any weapons and he was walking on the ground, he was not on the chariot. So Kalayavan, also following the rules of the war, he started following Krishna. He wanted to catch Krishna and fight with him and defeat him. Ultimately, Krishna, he पंथास्तु कोटि शतवत्सर संप्रगम्यो वायो रथापि मनसो मुनिपुंगवाना सोप्यस्ति यत् प्रपदसिम्न विचिन्त्य तत्त्वयि गोविन्दमादि पुरुषं तमहं भजामि. The yogis and the sages, they are trying for many lives, but they are not able to see the tip of the toe of the Supreme Lord. Who can catch him? So therefore, Kalayavan was not able to catch Krishna. Krishna took him to a place where the great devotee Muchukunda was taking rest. And we heard the story of Muchukunda also. And then Kalayavan, so Parikshit Maharaj inquired about Muchukunda, and Shukdev Goswami described in detail about Muchukunda. And Kalayavan, when he entered that cave, he saw this person lying down. He thought Krishna is sleeping, so he kicked him. Muchukunda opened his eyes and burned Kalayavan to ashes. Then he saw Krishna standing. Then there is a beautiful conversation which goes on between Krishna and Muchkunda. Muchkunda Maharaj, and Muchkunda Maharaj offers prayers. Krishna gives him blessings and benedictions. And then after that, Muchkunda, he left for pilgrimage towards the north. So that's what we discussed so far. So in the 52nd chapter, very, very beautiful chapter, which is entitled Rukmini's Message to Krishna. So Muchukunda, actually now in this chapter it comes that he circumambulated the Lord after offering prayers and then exited the cave. Samviksha shullakan martyan pashun virud vanaspatin matva kali yugam praptam jagama dishamuttaram. So when Muchukunda came out of the cave, he saw Samviksha, he saw that all the human beings, animals, trees, their size was very, very less, severely reduced. Because it was Kali Yuga. So he didn't understood. Now, okay, now Kali Yuga has come. It is about to come. So that's why, all these plants and animals and humans, their size has gone down. So he understood that and he left for the north. So Prabhupada in the purport, so the Hridayananda Maharaj in the purport, he describes how in the Kali Yuga, the size, the height and the life duration as it is described, everything goes down. Prayan alpayasha sabya kalavasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadrita. These are the symptoms of Kali Yuga. So Shullakan, it is emphasized there. It means little. They were the people and the animals of Kali Yuga and the plants of Kali Yuga. They are very short, and people are many times poor, wicked, malicious. These are symptoms of Kali Yuga. And Jiva Goswami writes that he went to north, means he went to Badarika Ashram, which is not there in this earth. The greater Himalayas we discussed in the 5th canto, the Himalaya which is there in between the Bharat Varsha and the Kim Purusha Varsha, there Vyasdev stays, and there is no influence of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, the 4 chakras, 4 Yuga cycles are there only in Bharat Varsha. So Muchukunda, he left for the north and he started doing intense austerity. He went to Gandhamadan mountain and then he arrived at Badarik ashram. So and he continued doing tapasya there. On the other hand, Krishna, what happened to him? What he did? Bhagavan punaravrajya purim yavanaveshtitam hatva malech balam ninye tadiyam dwarakam dhanam. So now, okay, Kalevan was killed, but the army of Kalevan was still there outside Mathura. So when Krishna returned to Mathura, he saw all the barbarian soldiers. He destroyed all of them. And he collected all the jewels and the valuables which they were wearing, and he brought everything to Dwarka. So now, as Krishna and Balram, they were carrying all these jewels and ornaments. It was being carried in ox carts. That time, Jarasandha came. Jarasandha appeared. Another 23 Akshauhini divisions. That's how amazing Jarasandha was. 17 times he accumulated 23 Akshauhini divisions. It is unimaginable. That requires determination. That is what we can learn from Jarasandha. Defeat failure after failure, but still, he had such wonderful determination. Of course, it was for the wrong cause. So Jarasandha appeared and he said, And so Shukdev Goswami tells Parikshit Maharaj, O king, when Krishna and Balram they saw the huge army of Jarasandh, you know, although they are supreme lord, they have Krishna has defeated single-handedly Jarasandh 17 times, but this time he had a purpose to fulfill. Some other work was there waiting for him. So imitating the behavior of ordinary humans who look like, fearful, they started running away. And all the ornaments and the jewelry which they were carrying, they abandoned everything. They didn't take that also. They abandoned all the riches and just imitating fear, feigning fear as if they were becoming fearful. They started running away. And many, many yojanas, they ran on their feet. Can you imagine? Who is Krishna? Fear personified fears Krishna. Madbhayadvati vatoyam Suryastapati madbhayat Varshatindro dhatyagni mrityuscharati madbhayat. Lord Kapila is telling to Devahuti, madbhayat, out of my fear, wind blows, sun rises, Indra showers rains. That personality is running. It is so very bewildering, In the first canto, in the third canto also, Vidura, actually Uddhava is recalling the wonderful nature of Krishna, how he is so very bewildering. Karmanyanihasya bhavo bhavasyate Durga Shrayothari Bhayat Palayanam Kalatmano yat pramadayutashramam Swatman rate khidyati dhir vidamiha. So Uddhava is remembering one of this pastime of running away from the battlefield. Karmani Anihasyare, he has nothing to do, but still he is maintaining family, he is doing all the administration of the kingdom. Bhava Abhavasyate, he is unborn, but still he takes birth. Durga Shrayo, out of fear of Jarasandha, they took shelter of a Durga in the middle of the ocean. Bhayat Palayanam, out of fear of Jarasandha, they are running now. Kalatmano yat pramadayutashram, they are self-satisfied. Swatman rate. But Krishna married 16,108 queens. Khidyati dhir vidamya. This is very, very bewildering. Even sober people are bewildered. Nobody can understand. Kunti Maharani in the first canto also, she's remembering, when I went to Braja once, I saw the, Yashoda Mai was binding you with ropes and you were crying, and your kajal which was there on your eyes, it was mixing with the tears and falling down, and you're rubbing your eyes, and she is getting bewildered. Gopya dade tvai krita gasidam tavat yate dashashru kalilanjana sambhramaksham Vaktram niniya bhava bhavanaya sthitasya samam vimohayati bhirapi yad vibheti. Samam vimohayati. She's telling, oh, I am getting bewildered. Bhirapi yad vibheti, fear personified, fears this person, and he is crying. He is rubbing his eyes. Muhushwasa kampatri rekhanka kantha. So that is Krishna. So therefore, Chakravarti Thakur writes that Uddhava also told that, my intelligence is getting bewildered. So therefore, it is so very astonishing why Krishna and Balram, they are behaving in this way. They had a purpose. Krishna had a purpose. But Jarasandh, like just, ordinary fool, demon, he didn't understand. He started laughing at the Lord and he started chasing them, without understanding who are these two personalities who are running as if they are fearful. Then after running for many, many yojanas, apparently they were exhausted. And in that exhausted state, They climbed a mountain traversion. So now how it is possible? A person, anyways, if we take some boys or some group for trekking a mountain requires lots of strength. If somebody is already exhausted, how can he climb? But Krishna and Balram, they were apparently exhausted and they climbed a mountain. Quickly, they ran and climbed the mountain. How high the mountain was? It was 11 yojanas high. 11 yojana means 90 miles approximately. Can you imagine? 90 miles. थक गए हैं, थके हुए हालत में 90 miles they are climbing. That is Krishna. And then after that, when Jarasandh, he saw that, okay, these people, Krishna and Balram, they have climbed this mountain. He tried to find the lords, but he could not find. So what he did? He set a fire on all sides of the mountain and put the entire mountain ablaze. Entire mountain was burning. So Krishna and Balram, just like, sometimes people, they like to jump, high jump. So Krishna and Balram jumped from the mountain which was 11 yojanas high. And it was a fun for them. And they fell without sound, as if they were floating. Far away they fell, and in a joyful state. Shukdev Goswami says in a joyful state. They were not getting disturbed and miserable. Are itna जोर से हमको चोट लग गया. They were happy. They were joyful. And Jarasandh and nobody could see them. Unseen by anybody, they entered Dwarka. Jarasandh and all the armies, they thought, okay, Krishna and Balram, they are burnt. So they went back. So then Shukdev Goswami, now, the marriage of Krishna and Balram is going to be described. So first, Shukdev Goswami describes the marriage of Balram in very short. So he describes that, on the order of Brahmaji, there was a king called Raivata. In Satya Yuga, he wanted to have his daughter married to a right person. So he went to Brahmaji to ask for a suitable match. And Brahmaji, he was busy with some things, so he waited there for some time. Then he came out and he asked, so what, please tell me why you have come. So then this King Raivat, he told that, I have come to ask you a suitable groom for the marriage of my daughter, Revati. So Brahmaji said, look, we have spent few minutes here in Brahmalok, and in the earth, yugas have passed. So now you go down and you marry your daughter to Lord Balram. Lord Balram is himself the incarnation of Supreme Lord. And then in one verse, Shukdev Goswami tells that Lord Govinda, he married the daughter of Bhishmaka, Vaidarbhi, and Vaidarbhi, she was the direct expansion of goddess of fortune. And while this marriage was going on, Lord defeated many kings like Shalva, and he took Rukmini, just like Garuda snatched the nectar from Indra and married Rukmini in a Rakshasa way. So Parikshit Maharaj again gets interested. Acha, Hare, ye to my grandmother ka story hai, So just like some relative. So Parikshit Maharaj wanted to hear more. So he asked, Bhagavan Bhishmaka Sutam Rukminim Ruchirananam Rakshasena Vidhanena Upayema iti Shrutam. Actually, Shukdev Goswami doesn't tell that Krishna married in a Rakshasa style, but Parikshit Maharaj, bachpan se devotee family, so he knows everything. So he's asking, Oh Bhagwan, oh Shukdev Goswami, we have heard, सुना है, उपयेम इति श्रुतम, सुना है हमने क्या? Bhagwan Krishna, he married Rukmini, who was Bhishmaka Suta, the daughter of Bhishmaka, a very beautiful Ruchiranana. Krishna married her in a Rakshasa style. I want to hear about that. Bhagavan Shrotumichhami Krishnayamit Tejasah Yatha Magada Shalvadin Jitva Kanyam Upaharat. So he's asking, Bhagavan Shrotumichhami. Oh my Lord, I want to hear. Krishnayamit Tejasa. I want to hear how the immeasurably powerful Lord Krishna defeated Jarasandha, Shalva, and all the other kings and took away the bride. So what is Rakshasa marriage? There are different types of marriage. Gandharva marriage, Rakshasa marriage. So in the Rakshasa marriage, the groom fights with all the opponents and forcibly takes away the bride after defeating the opponents. So Parikshit Maharaj, he wanted to hear. Brahman Krishna Katha Punya Madhavir Lok Malapaha Konutripyet Srinvana Shrutagyo Nityanutana. O Brahman, Krishna Katha is Punya. O Brahmana, Krishna Katha is all auspicious. Madhavir Lok Malapaha. It is so very charming. Nothing is in this world is more charming than Krishna Katha. That is the most attractive and enchanting thing which is there in this world. Madhavi. Enchanting and charming. Lok Malapaha. Very interesting. It destroys all the contamination of the world. Aho aho bhir nakaler viduyate sudha sudhara madhuram pade pade dine dine chandana chandra shitalam yasho yashoda tanayasya giyate. So that is the beauty of Krishna Katha. Sudha sudhara madhuram pade pade. Every step it is very very nectarine. Lok malapaha. Who can be satisfied? Konu tripye tare, kaun sun ke santusht hoga? Koi nahi santusht ho sakta hai. Nobody can be satisfied hearing Krishna Katha. Konu tripye Srinvana. Who could ever get satiated hearing Krishna Katha? Shrutagyo Nityanutana, because the topics of Krishna, they are ever fresh. Nitya Nutana. Any experienced listener will never get satiated. Shrutagya, experienced listener. People in this world, they want to hear so many things, so many topics. Shruta Vyadini Rajendra Niyam Santi Sahasra, hazaron cheezein baat karne ke liye. But nothing can give satisfaction to the mind. First canto, it is described. Kastripnuya tirtha padobhidhana shtreshu vasuriviryamana yat karna nadim purushasya yato bhava pradam geharatim chinati. Kastripnuya, who can be satisfied hearing Krishna Katha? This is the only thing which can destroy the entanglement from this material world. Geharati chinati. Please tell me, oh Brahmana, please tell me, I am not satiated, I am not satisfied. Vayam tuna vitripyama, please, we are not satisfied, please keep speaking. So Parikshit Maharaj, when he expresses his eagerness, Shukdev Goswami begins the most beautiful narration of marriage of Rukmini and Krishna. This is a very, very interesting and enchanting and very sweet section of Bhagavatam 10th canto. It has lots of lessons for sadhakas. From Rukmini Devi we can learn so many things. So Shukdev Goswami is telling, there was a king named Bhishmaka, He was a very, very powerful ruler of Vidarbha. He had 5 sons and 1 daughter. Of the 5 sons, Rukmi was the eldest. Other 4 were Rukmarath, Rukmabahu, Rukmakesh, and Rukmamali. And they had one beautiful faced sister. Her name was Rukmini. So as Bhishmaka was a very, very pious and devoted king, many sages would come to the palace of Bhishmaka and they would glorify Krishna. They would speak the glories of Krishna. And everybody was attracted hearing the glories and the beautiful pastimes of Krishna. Rukmini Devi, she was a small girl. She would also hear. Saupshrutya mukundasya rupa virya gunashriya grihagatam giyamanai tammene sadrishimpati. Upashrutya, by hearing about Rupa, Virya, Guna, and Shriya, by hearing about the beauty of Krishna, the power and the strength of Krishna, the qualities and the opulence of Krishna, from whom she would hear Grihagatam Grigiyamanai. The sages who would come to the palace of Bhishmaka, they would glorify Krishna. Just by hearing the qualities of Krishna, Tammene Sadrishimpati, Rukmini, she decided Shadi Karungi to inse hi. She decided him that I will have only Krishna as my husband. That is the power of hearing. Upashrutya, she had never seen Krishna. She just heard about Krishna. That is a process of devotional service, beginning with Shravanam. That's why Shravanam is the most powerful limb of devotional service. When we hear submissively, attentively the glories of Krishna, we will also get attracted to Krishna. It is just a matter of giving our unalloyed attention. We have to spend quality time and quantity time also with Bhagavatam. Because Bhagavatam describes the wonderful qualities of Krishna. In this world, generally, if we hear the name of some person, we may not get so much attracted. When we see that person, we may get attracted. But when we hear about the qualities of the person, we get attracted the most. The activities of the person, the qualities of the person, they attract our mind. So because we are materially conditioned souls, of course, for Krishna, the holy name and Krishna is non-different. But in our conditioned mind, it is easy to get attracted to the qualities of Krishna. How we will get attracted to qualities of Krishna? When we'll hear about the qualities. And Bhagavatam is full of the activities and the qualities of Krishna. And that's what Rukmini Devi was hearing every day. Tam buddhi lakshanaudarya rupa shila gunashrayam Krishnascha sadrishim bharyam samodvodhum manodade. On the other side, Rukmini Devi was attracted to Krishna, and on the other side, Lord Krishna also knew Buddhi Lakshana Audarya. He also knew that Rukmini possessed intelligence and all the auspicious bodily features. Rupa, Shila, Guna, Ashraya. She was the reservoir of all the wonderful qualities, beauty, character. Krishnascha Sadrishim Bharya. So Rukmini Devi, what she decided? Sadrishim Pati. And Krishna also decided. Okay, Sadrishim Bharya. Sadrishi Pati, Sadrishi Bharya. So he also concluded that she would be an ideal wife for me. So he also made up her mind to marry Rukmini. You know, so the purport describes that Lord Krishna, he is described as Sadrishi Pati, and Rukmini is described as Sadrishi Bharya. Rukmi, he envied Krishna. He did not want Rukmini to be married to Krishna. Everybody in the kingdom, Bhishmaka himself, he wanted to marry Rukmini with Krishna, but nobody could do anything. King Bhishmaka could not do anything because he had affection for his eldest son. And Rukmini, he wanted his sister to be married to Shishupal because Shishupal, he was also envious of Krishna. The first words which he spoke was criticism of Krishna after he took birth. Rukmini, she was not an ordinary, simple village lady. She was a Kshatrani. She understood the whole situation. She became upset, you know. But she was not like that lady, okay, abhi kya kare, I cannot do anything. Everybody is against me. No. She was Kshatriya lady. She called a trusted Brahmana and she gave a letter. She sent that Brahmana to Krishna with a letter. So that Brahmana immediately he left and he reached Dwarka. And he saw that Krishna was sitting on a golden throne, and for Brahmana, her name, this Brahmana's name was Sunanda. For a Brahmana, it was not difficult to approach Krishna because Krishna is Namo Maha Namo. It says, "Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Deenabandhu, Jagatpate." Is Karuna Sindhu, and he is Brahmana Deva. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmanya Hitaya. Krishna is very dear to Brahmanas, and Brahmanas are very dear to Krishna. So this Brahmana was allowed to see Krishna immediately. So when Krishna he saw this Brahmana, he immediately was sitting on the golden throne. He came down, offered obeisances to this Brahmana, and just like all the devatas, they worship Krishna. Krishna was worshipping this Brahmana. He made sure that Brahmana is given all the worship and respect and proper guest reception. He arranged for the nice food, and he gave them nice room and all the nice bedding to rest. And then after he had taken sufficient rest, Krishna came to meet him. And interestingly, Krishna, what he was doing, he was massaging the feet of this Brahmana as he was talking to him. That's how Krishna is. Krishna likes to serve his devotees. Krishna is Sarva Saundarya Sangraham, and the best part of Krishna's beauty is he likes to serve his devotees and he likes to give credit to his devotees. So Krishna was massaging feet of this Brahmana and he inquired from this Brahmana. He asked, "O Brahmana, are your religious practices going on nicely? Are they proceeding without any difficulty? Is your mind satisfied and calm?" So, Krishna very nicely, he is asking the duties of a Brahmana. So the dharma, the word is used dharma. Is your dharma, are you able to practice your dharma properly? The dharma of a Brahmana is to be satisfied, to serve the Supreme Lord, to follow the principles of devotional service. And then Krishna speaks. Santushto yarhi varteta brahmano yena kenachit adhiyamana swadharmat sahi yasya kamaduk. He says, when a Brahmana is satisfied with whatever he gets, whatever comes on his own, if a Brahmana is satisfied with that, adhiyamana swadharmat, then the Brahmana does not fall away from his religious duties. For a Brahmana, satisfaction, and for that matter, for everybody, satisfaction is a very, very crucial thing. Then only we can be steady in the path of dharma. Sahi asya akhila kamadhuk. And then he says, if a Brahmana is very steadfast to follow the principles of dharma, then the same dharma will give him everything. The dharmic principles will become the desire cow, desire fulfilling cow, kamadhuk. Dharmo rakshati dharma, as it is said. So therefore, in the path of devotional service, the principle of satisfaction is given lots of importance. Then he tells, Santushto sakrinloka napnotyapi shureshwarah akinchanopi santushta shete sarvanga vijwarah. And then he tells, but if a Brahmana is unsatisfied, asantushto asakrin lokan. If a Brahmana is not satisfied, he helplessly wanders from one planet to another. Even if he attains heaven, he will not be satisfied. Therefore, but then he tells, akinchano api santushta. But if a Brahmana is satisfied, though he may be possessing very little things, very simple thing he may be possessing, or he may be possessing nothing, but still he rests peacefully. Vipran swalabha santushtan sadhun bhuta surittaman nirahankarina shantan namasye sirasha sakrit. And then he tells, the Brahmanas who are satisfied with whatever they get according to the destiny, those who are saintly, sadhu, those who are well-wishers of everybody, bhuta surittama, nirahankara, those who are devoid of false ego, those who are shanta, those who are peaceful. I repeatedly bow my head in the respect of these Brahmanas. So therefore, these qualities are very, very important for devotees to develop. And Bhagavad Gita, it is just, these qualities are described many times in Bhagavad Gita. It comes in the 12th chapter, 13th chapter, 14th chapter. Again, chapter after chapter, these qualities are described. Prabhupada writes in the purport, these are the qualities which devotees should aspire to cultivate. We should be very vigilant to note, am I developing these qualities or not? So these are very, very important qualities. And then he tells, Krishna is telling, oh, Brahmana, is your king attending to your welfare properly? Or because he tells, if the citizens are happy, then the king will be happy, and such a king will be very, very dear to me. And then after glorifying Brahmana and Brahmanical culture and duties of a Brahmana, then he asks, oh Brahmana, you have come here crossing the sea. What is your purpose? Please tell me if it is not a secret thing. You have traveled a great distance. Can I know what is the purpose? So when Krishna, he questioned this Brahmana, Brahmana told everything. He was carrying a letter, and the letter was sealed. It was a royal letter, it was sealed. So Brahmana, he took out the letter, he showed the letter, and in front of Krishna, he broke the seal and he gave the letter to Krishna. This letter was personally written by Rukmini Devi with her own hands. Brahmana, he gave that letter to Krishna. But Krishna, he requested the Brahmana to read that letter. So this Brahmana, he started reading that letter. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he describes that Krishna, he's thinking, how can I accept the, because Krishna knows everything. So he's thinking, how can I accept such a woman who has no shame in writing letters, and she's proposing me, she's proposing marriage to me. I am a prince, unknown. She has never seen me. She has never talked to me, and she is writing a letter. So, Rukmini, understanding such thoughts of Krishna, she is telling, you can say that. It is true, I am shameless, and you can say that. But I will express the feelings of my heart anyways. And after you hear the feelings of my heart, you can respect it or you can ignore it, you can accept or reject. That is up to you. I don't care. I'm not concerned about that. And depending on whether I will obtain you or not, I will, decide what I should do. If you accept me, I'll live happily with you. Or today or tomorrow, I will die. So therefore, what is the question of fear or shame? If you'll accept me, I'll be happy. If you don't accept me, I'll die. So I have no shame and no fear. So therefore, I'll now speak. So, with these thoughts, Rukmini Devi, she has written 7 beautiful verses. These verses, they are, such gems of the verses. And so many acharyas have written such elaborate commentaries on these 7 verses of Rukmini Sandesh. We'll be discussing few of those top points. So this Brahmana, now he is reading the letter written by Rukmini Devi. Shrutva gunan bhuvan sundar shinvatam te nirvishya karna vivarai haratongatapam रूपम दृशाम दृशिमताम अखिलार्थलाभम त्वय्यच्युता विशति चित्तम पत्रपम में. So Rukmini Devi, now she is telling, I have heard, first word she is writing Shrutva. I have heard. Kya suna hai? Gunan. I have heard about your qualities. Who are you? Bhuvana Sundar. Oh, beauty of the whole world. A very, very interesting love letter Rukmini Devi is writing. The first love letter of the history she is writing. Oh, beauty of the whole world, having heard your qualities, Nirvishya Karna Vivarai Haratong. These qualities, they have entered the ears of mine. And anyone who hears your glories, O my Lord, what happens to them? Harato Angatap. When those qualities, the glories of those qualities enters the ears, Karna Vivarai, Harato Angatapam. Angatap goes down. Generally in this world, when you hear the beauty of somebody, Angatap increases, generally. One becomes disturbed, agitated. But when we hear the beauty of Krishna, it has the opposite effect. Harato angatapam, the misery and the distress of this material world goes down. The misery created by the mind, by the body, by the supernatural powers, by other living entities, everything is diminished. That is the power of Krishna Katha. That's how throughout Bhagavatam, that's why, hearing the Krishna Katha is so very emphasized. And anybody who does not hear Krishna Katha, his ear holes are like the holes where the snakes live. Bile batoru krama vikramanye na shinvati karna pute narasya. Bill hai wo jahan pe saap rehta hai. पाइया मनुष्य जन्म जेना शुने गौर गुण हेना जन्म तार व्यर्थ होइला पाइया अमृत धुनि पिए विष गर्त पानी जन्मिया से केने नाही महिला अरे कविराज गोस्वामी is telling you have got a human form मनुष्य जन्म मिला है and you are not hearing gaurgun you are not hearing pastimes and the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu अरे why did you take birth. It is as if somebody is getting a river of nectar and he is drinking poison from a deep dark ditch. निर्विश्य कर्ण विवरै हरतोंगतापम रूपम दृशाम दृशिमताम अखिलार्थ लाभम. And what else? Oh my Lord, having heard of your beauty, that beauty fulfills the desires of everyone. Chandrika vishadasmerai sarunapang vikshatai swakarthanam ivarajah sattvabhyam srishtipalakai. When we see the beautiful form of the Lord, the beautiful glance of the Lord creates the desire for service. And the beautiful smile of the Lord destroys all the hankerings and lamentation. Rupam drisham drishimatam akhilartha labham akhil artha labh. That is the highest thing one can achieve in this material world. Akhil artha labh. Highest treasure one can have in this world is to achieve and get a chance to have a darshan of the Lord. Therefore, oh my Lord, what is my fault? Meri galti hai nahi. It is your fault. You know, I am shameless, but the fault is not mine. It is your fault. You are so beautiful. Meri kya galti? You know. So it is described that Rukmini Devi, she was a very, very courageous and bold daughter of a Kshatriya. So therefore, she rather chose to die than to marry Shishupal. And therefore, she is writing such a frank, explicit letter begging Krishna to come and take her away. So Chakravarti Thakur, he writes the elaborate purport to this verse. He tells, Rukmini Devi is telling, oh Achyuta, having heard your qualities, my mind has lost all the shame. You know, Tvai Achyuta Vishati Chittam Apatrapamme, I have become shameless. I have become attached to you. Because of your qualities, because of your form, my mind has become attached to you. And my mind has become shameless. My ears have become shameless. These are the two faults which I have. But you cannot criticize me for that. I accept that my mind and my ears have become shameless, but fault is not mine completely. You are also responsible. You know, you cannot criticize me, and I cannot criticize you. Galti dono ki hai. You are so beautiful, and I have heard your glories. So my fault is I have heard, but your fault is you are beautiful. You are the abode of all the qualities. What is so you cannot tell galti tumhari? No, we too are at fault. Jiva Goswami tells, when these qualities enter my mind, these qualities destroy all the sufferings which are arising in my body, in my mind, and that's the power of Krishna Katha. It destroys all the sufferings. Tapatrayon Mulanam, first verse describes Tapatraya, Adhidaivika, Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, all the tapa and the miseries get destroyed. And seeing the form of the Lord is the attainment of all the objects. So therefore, she is telling that it is not my fault at all. At first, because she's coming from a good family, she is well cultured. To write a letter, at first she was feeling a little shame. So to hide the feelings, she is first describing the general qualities of Krishna, which everybody gets attracted to. Everybody gets attracted to the beauty of Krishna, the wealth of Krishna, the strength of Krishna. And therefore she's telling, it is not my fault. Everybody is getting attracted to you. And problem is, it is not that after hearing I became attracted. Even before hearing, by nature I was attracted to you. Because of my past impressions, I was attracted to you. Even the first day I heard about you, I was attracted. So, and when I heard your quality, as I became more and more attracted and absorbed. And then she tells, kya kare? Not only me, any lady, any girl will like to marry you. Katva mukunda mahati kulashila rupa vidya vayo dravina dham abhiratma tulyam धीरापति कुलवती नवृणीत कन्या काले नरसिंह नरलोक मनोभिरामम. Now, after hearing this first verse, Shrutva Gunan, सुना है आपके बारे में. Krishna may say, okay, I granted. I may be the most incomparable man in the entire world. But are you the only girl in the whole universe? With eyes and ears? All the girls are there. And I do not see anybody with such shamelessness. So many girls are there with ears and eyes. Nobody is writing letter to me, and you are so shameless. I have never seen anybody such shameless like you. Expecting this, Rukmini Devi is telling, Katva Mukunda Mahati Kulashila Rupa. O Mukunda, in lineage, character, beauty, Vidya Vayo Dravina Dham Abhiratma Tulyam, in knowledge, youthfulness, wealth, and influence, you are equal to yourself only. Nobody can compare to you. Nobody can come close to you in any of these qualities. In your wealth, in your character, beauty, lineage, everything, strength. So, मेरी क्या गलती है? धीरापति कुलवती नवृणीत कन्या. She's saying, what aristocratic, sober-minded, and marriageable girl of good family will not get attracted to you? Who will not choose you as your husband, as her husband? Kale narasim naralokamano bhiramam. Therefore, she's telling, O lion among men, Mano Bhiramam, you are the delight for the minds of all the women. So Rukmini Devi, she's telling, oh Mukunda, you have a smile like a kunda flower, Mukunda. Kunda is a type of flower, so the smile of Krishna is very sweet, enchanting. The beauty, the body of Krishna is most beautiful. In the body of Krishna, the face is more beautiful. In the face of Krishna, the smile is the most beautiful. That is the most beautiful part of Krishna's body. Krishnanga lavanyapur madhur hoite sumadhur tate ei mukha sudhakar madhur hoite sumadhur taha hoite sumadhur tar ei smit jyotsna bhar. Kaviraj Goswami is telling this. Your body is a city of beauty. Krishnanga lavanyapur. But in this body also your face is most beautiful. Madhur hoite sumadhur. But in the face, your smile is most beautiful. So Rukmini is telling, your smile is like a kunda flower. What intelligent girl will not accept you? She's telling, actually like me, there are many girls who will accept you, but now it is my turn now, So it is now my time, mera time hai. Everybody would like to marry you, but It is now it is my time. Then she's telling, look, don't think I'll control you. Are who can control you? You are Narsimha in the previous times. You are Lord Narsimha. Who can control Narsimha Dev? So don't think I'll control you by my beauty and by my charms. No, your beauty is incomparable. Everybody would like to get married to you, all ladies. So therefore, you are residing in everyone's mind, right? Manobhiramam. What is the fault if you are residing in my mind also? Meri galti nahi hai. And then she tells, तन्मे भवान खलु वितापतिरंग जायाम आत्मार्पितश्च भवतो अत्र विभो विधेहि मा वीर भागम अभिमर्शतु चैद्यमारात् गोमायुवान मृगपतेर्बलिमम्बुजाक्ष तन्मे भवान. Oh, therefore, O my Lord, I have chosen you as my husband. Patiranga Jayam. I have chosen you as my husband. And then I have offered my life to you. Atma arpitacha atra bhavato. I have surrendered myself to you, O Supreme Lord, O Omnipotent One. Please make me your wife. Ma veera bhagam abhimarshatu chaidyam arad. Please come quickly, Arad. Quickly, please come. That Shishupal, Chaidya, the king of Chedi, Shishupal, should not come and touch me. He should not touch the that which is belonging to the hero. Just like jackal sometimes steals the property of a lion, Shishupal is like a jackal. He should not steal your property, oh my lord. I'm your property. So therefore she's telling, just like, since I'm attracted to you, I have chosen you as my husband. And it is not just now, but from the very first day I have chosen you. The first day I heard about you, I decided, Tammene Sadrishim Pati, I have offered my life and soul at your lotus feet, O my Lord. So therefore, please come and accept me. And that's why I've sent this letter to inform you about my state. If you accept me, you'll maintain my life. But if you reject me, you know what I'll do? I'll burn myself up. I cannot survive. I'll die in the burning fire of separation. I cannot give myself to anyone else. Therefore, O my Lord, please accept me. I have surrendered to you. My surrender is not like Bali Maharaj's surrender. He was not having that intense love. The surrender of Bali Maharaj was nirbhav. But my surrender is full of love for you. Therefore, O my Lord, please quickly send this Brahmana back so that I may know what is your what you have decided. So that Shishupal may not touch me. Please do the needful as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you delay and Shishupal comes and touches me, I will not be able to survive. I will burn myself. I'll burn my body. And you know what is my fear? She's telling, my fear is you will become infamous. People will come to know that because of you, I committed suicide. I don't want you to become infamous. So please come. And then she's telling, Purteshta datta niyama vratadeva vipra Guru Archana Diviralam Bhagavan Pareshah Aradito Yadi Gada Grajametya Panim Grahanatuna Midama Ghosha Sutadayonye. Now she is telling, oh my Lord, if by the pious works, by the charity, by sacrifices, by the vows, by worship of the devatas, by worship of the superiors, if I have served all these and through these personalities, if I have worshipped you, O my Lord, Aradhito yadi gadagrajayetya panim. If I have worshipped you sufficiently by all these means, Gadagraja. Gadagraja means the elder brother of Gada. Grihana tuname Damaghosh. Then let Damaghosh Sutta, the son of Damaghosh, Shishupal, should not come and touch me. Please come, O my Lord. So therefore it is described in the purport that Rukmini, she felt that nobody can obtain the Supreme Lord if he has not done sufficient efforts in this life and the previous lives. These efforts are not just efforts, simple efforts to get some pious credits. These are efforts to please Krishna, charity for Krishna, sacrifice for Krishna, vows for Krishna, the daily rituals, the chanting, the Ekadashi, serving the deities. These are crucial for a sadhaka. You have to do the austerities. Unless one practices austerities in Krishna consciousness, it is not possible to attain Krishna. We have to practice austerities. And the foremost of the austerities which we have to do is to chant attentively, to hear attentively, whatever for that matter, whatever we are doing in Krishna consciousness, unless we are serious and sincere and attentive, we will not get the result. Krishna will not be pleased by that. Because Krishna likes to see the devotees attentive. If we struggle to be attentive, if we struggle to be serious and sincere, that is what attracts Krishna's mercy. So Rukmini Devi is telling that if I have done all these things, then let Damghosh Sutta not touch me. Please come and take me. So hearing all this, Krishna may say, okay, it is okay, true. I accept you. According to your past activities, I accept that. Okay, you have done sufficient tapasya, I'll accept you. But what should I do now? You have already been given to Shishupal in right marriage. It is decided already. What can I do now? Rukmini Devi, expecting this thought, she's telling. Shobhavini tvam ajito dvahane vidarbhan Gupta sametya pritana patibhi paritah Nirmatya chaidya magadhendra balam prasahya Mam rakshashena vidinodvaha virya shulkam. Now she's telling the way out. She's telling, oh my Lord, oh unconquerable one, Ajita, tomorrow, what you should do? Tomorrow, when my marriage ceremony is about to begin, you should come. Secretly, you should enter Vidarbha. Surrounded by your armies, you should enter Vidarbha. Unseen, you should arrive unseen in Vidarbha and surround yourself with the leaders of your army. And then what you should do? Nirmatya. Crush the forces of Chaidya and Magadhendra. Crush the forces of Jarasandha and Shishupal. Mam Rakshasena Vidhina. In the Rakshasa Vidhi, marry me. Marry me in Rakshasa style. Just kidnap me. Take me. So what she's telling, actually, just like and Srila Prabhupada, he writes in Krishna book that Rukmini, she belonged to a royal blood and therefore she had a brilliant grasp of political affairs. She knew how Krishna should come and kidnap me. So she advised Krishna to enter alone and then secretly and then surround yourself, because she knew that there will be a big fight. So therefore you should come with army. And she's telling, if the forces of Chaidya and Magadhendra, Shishupal and Jarasandha trouble you, then you crush them. Just like the ocean was churned and then Lakshmi Devi came out. So therefore you churn and crush the forces of Shishupal and Jarasandh and take me away. Krishna may tell, okay, it is no problem in killing the forces of Shishupal and Jarasandh, but in that way, your relatives will also be killed. So then she's telling another secret. Antah purantarchari manihatya bandhum त्वामुद्वहे कथमिति प्रवदाम्युपायम् पूर्वे दुरस्ति महती कुलदेव यात्रा yasyam bahirnavvadhum girijamupeyat. Now she's telling, since antah purantar, I'll be staying in the inner chambers. So you may be thinking, how can I marry you? How can you marry me without killing my relatives? She's writing all this plan, pura plan bata rahi. She's telling all the plan, how you should come and kidnap me. She's telling, pravadamyaham, main batati hu na. I'll tell you how you should come and kidnap me. One day before the marriage, on the day of marriage, before the marriage starts, it is a ritual in our family. It is a tradition that there is a procession which goes from the royal family palace to the temple of Girija. In this procession, I'll be there in front, surrounded by the wives of the Brahmanas. She's telling everything. That time you should come. That time you will be, you can kidnap me without killing any of my relatives. So therefore, it is interesting that Rukmini Devi is using all her intelligence. In Krishna consciousness, we have to use our intelligence so that we can come to Krishna. Somehow or other, we have to plan our life. We use whatever intelligence we have, plan our life, mold our life in such a way that we can come close to Krishna, so that Krishna may come and steal our minds. Surround ourselves with such paraphernalia, such circumstances, so that we are forced to become Krishna conscious. If we, as Chaitanya Chariprabhu was telling once in one class, that the best way to control the mind is to avoid places which require mind control. That, okay, if I'll go at this place, I'll get distracted and deviated and I'll waste my time. Don't go there. Avoid that place. Avoid that friendship. Avoid that, whatever situations in life which takes us away from Krishna. Use our intelligence. Whatever intelligence we have to use our intelligence. Then dadami buddhi yogam will happen. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti. And then, after hearing all this, Krishna may say, "O princess, you may say all this, but how can you get my mercy without having performed sufficient pious activities?" Without performing sufficient pious activities, nobody can attain me. Or he may tell, "You are not qualified to be my wife. How can I marry you?" Or he may tell that, "I am already feeling such separation from gopis. I cannot marry you." So Rukmini Devi, expecting all these, she tells, that's true. That's true that, without getting sufficient pious credits, nobody can approach you, nobody can attain you. In fact, you are rarely attained by Brahma or Shiva. How can I, insignificant girl, can attain you? I am a daughter of a Kshatriya. But if I am not able to attain you, I will try for 100 lifetimes, but I will not give up. I will do tapasya for 100 lifetimes. I'm ready for it. That is a determination of a devotee. The devotee should be ready to undergo any extent of tapasya, any amount of tapasya to please Krishna, to attain Krishna. And that's what Rukmini Devi is expressing in this last prayer. Yasyangri pankaj raja snapanam mahanto vanchantyumapatirvatmatamopahatyai yarhyambujakshana bhavat prasadam jahyamashun vrat krishan shat janma bhi syat. She's telling, Yasya Angri Pankaj Rajaha. To attain the dust of lotus feet of you, O my Lord, Vanchanti Umapati, even Lord Shiva is hankering. Even Lord Shiva is hankering to attain the dust of your lotus feet. The dust of your lotus feet can destroy the ignorance of this material world. It is not so easily attained. It is very, very rare opportunity. Yarhyambujakshana bhavat prasadam. But, oh my Lord, O lotus-eyed one, if I cannot attain you in this life, Jahya Mashun, I'll give up my life. I'll do austerities, I'll give up my life. Again, I'll take birth. Again, I'll do austerity, give up my life. And this way, I'm ready to do for 100 lifetimes. I am ready to do tapasya for hundreds of lifetimes. But I want your mercy, O my Lord. This is Rukmini Devi's extraordinary determination to attain Krishna. It is not just the mundane love of a girl for a boy. If I can't get this boy, okay, no problem. Somebody else is there. No. 100 lifetimes I am ready to do tapasya, but I will not marry anybody else. That is possible only on spiritual platform, not on material platform. So Rukmini Devi, she is telling that, oh my Lord, in order to obtain you in this life, I'll practice celibacy and austerities. And if in this life I am not able to attain you, then I will perform austerities for millions of lifetimes. I'm ready for it. Krishna may tell, but you have performed so many sinful activities also in the past. What about them? Rukmini Devi tells him, oh my Lord, Vanchantyumapatirvatmatamopahatyai. Are, just by remembering you, all the sins get destroyed. Just by meditating on your lotus feet, all the sins are destroyed. But still, if I do not attain your mercy, I'll give up my life fasting. I'll do fasting, I'll give up my life. Krishna may tell, what will you accomplish by that? Rukmini tells, I'll give up my life. Again, I'll take birth. Again, do tapasya. In this way, I'm ready to do for hundreds of births. But I will never marry anybody else. So then after describing such a beautiful letter of Rukmini, this Brahmana tells, this is the confidential message which I have brought with me, O Lord of the Yadus. Please consider what must be done and do it at once. So therefore it was the Guhya Sandesh. It was a very confidential message, and Brahmana is telling, I have maintained the confidentiality. I have not violated the confidentiality. I am telling this letter only, I am reading this letter only to you. This Brahmana is a bona fide spiritual master. So Rukmini Devi is sending a very trusted bona fide Brahmana. And the Brahmana, when he sees, okay, this person is really struggling to attain Krishna, he helps to, get the message of Rukmini to Krishna. So therefore, when we surrender to the spiritual master, then spiritual master can help and bring us come close to Krishna. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. So this is the end of this chapter. So what happens next, we'll discuss tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Anybody has any questions?
Hare Krishna, who is Gadagraja?
Gada is one of the sons of Rohini, and he's younger brother of Krishna. So Gadagraja is Krishna. Gada Agraja, elder brother of Gada, that is Krishna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.